conflict continues in Israel. In an interview with AFN, John Travis Smith of Texas Baptist Men said he's in West Bank, Israel, where they have feeding trucks and paramedics to minister to the injured. He said Gaza is attacking.
At this very moment, they're actually shelling Tel Aviv and areas around there, so we pulled back out. We always want to make sure our people are safe and our volunteers are safe.
The U.S. is investigating Iran's ties to Hamas as the war between Israel and Hamas progresses. The United States, meanwhile, is launching airstrikes in Syria against Iran-linked targets. Fox's Peter Doocy has more from the White House.
The targets were storing the weapons these proxies were shooting at Americans, and we're told President Biden did not coordinate with the Israelis about this strike, which specifically targeted the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, even though defense officials can't say whether or not there were any Iranians present. Defense Secretary Austin is telling us these narrowly tailored strikes in self-defense were intended solely to protect and defend U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria. They are separate and distinct from the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas and do not constitute a shift in our approach to the Israel-Hamas conflict.
Conservative activists say new House Speaker Mike Johnson had every right to question the validity of the 2020 presidential election. AFN's Chad Groening explains.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is coming under fire after referring to Johnson as an election denier, despite the fact that he claimed in 2018 that the 2016 election of Donald Trump was, quote, illegitimate. Gary.
今日はどうだった？最後まで、初めから最後までいた。シャワー入った？入った。
Is kind of beginning to understand that.
I'm Chad Groening.
Authorities are continuing their search for Robert Card, the man suspected of killing 18 people at a bar and a bowling alley in Lewiston, Maine. The two shooting locations were reportedly frequent hangout spots for Card and his ex-girlfriend. More victims of that Maine mass shooting are being identified. Leroy Walker learned of his son Joseph being among the dead. He discusses his son's final moment on Fox and Friends.
My son went after the shooter, trying to defend everyone that was being shot at, and lost his life in trying.
Joseph Walker was a manager at the Bar and Grill in Lewiston, Maine, the second location of the gunman's shooting spree. New York City is continuing to run out of room in shelters amidst the growing number of migrants and asylum seekers arriving in the Big Apple. Here's Ashley Webster.
As more asylum seekers continue to arrive, and we know the city is running out of space and resources to house them. City officials have recently discussed giving migrants tents and creating encampments in parks like Central Park and other outdoor spaces. In recent weeks, the New York City Fire Department has also been closing multiple shelters because of fire safety hazards. Mayor Eric Adams has previously asked the Biden administration to declare a state of emergency, and he's also warned that sheltering the migrants could cost the city $12 billion over the next 3 years.
A new AP poll looks at Americans and their expenses. About 2 in 3 Americans say their household expenses have risen over the last year, but only about 1 in 4 say their income has increased in the same period. As household expenses outpace earnings, many are expressing concern about their financial futures. And for most Americans, household debt is rising or not going away. About half say they currently have credit card debt, 4 in 10 are dealing with auto loans, and about 1 in 4 have medical debt. Just 15% say their household savings have increased over the last year. For more news, be sure to check out our website, afn.net. For American Family News, I'm Bronson Wolf.
Snickers is running an unnecessarily vulgar commercial that makes light of sin and swinging. The commercial features 2 couples playing a board game where a misunderstanding leads to one person expressing interest in wife swapping. It's poor taste to make light of such an indecent topic, especially when aired on family-friendly television. Join us at 1 Million Moms to get Snickers to stop its inappropriate marketing campaigns. Sign the petition at 1millionmoms.com. That's 1millionmoms.com.
There is the hope.
This is At the Core on American Family Radio.
Welcome to The Core here on American Family Radio Network. Glad to have you with us today on the program. Rick Green and I, we are your hosts each week. Rick Green and Walker Wildman, and we're your host each week on the program. At the Core is the name of the show. The network you're listening to is American Family Radio. AFR.net is the URL, or the American Family Radio app on your smartphone or tablet device, or wherever you download apps. We're on Roku as well. We have the Amazon Alexa skill available, so we are should be wherever you are on all various platforms and devices. That's At the Core. We would love for you to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Just type in the name of the show. Once you land there, click the plus button or the subscribe button, and the show will be queued up in your podcast store each and every day that we upload the podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, this is we're toward the end of October here, and we are wrapping up our special for the month. That's our Ryan DeFreitas DVD set that we have 20% off for the month of October. The Ryan DeFreitas Secret Agent DVD sets are available for a few more days at resources.afa.net. We're selling them in 3 episode bundles for value purposes, so it's more cost effective for you and for us to ship these in bundles of 3. And who just wants one, right? Why not have more than one? We've got 3 episodes in a bundle. What I'm holding here in front of me for those watching on Facebook or streaming.afa.net, I've got the 10, 11, and 12 bundle here, but you can get a glimpse as far as what we're talking about. So that's our special for the month of October, 20% off, and that includes free shipping. You know, last month we had a pretty good deal with our Constitution pack, our Constitution combo, but this is also a good deal. Ryan DeFreitas DVD set just in time for the holidays, just in time for Christmas, just in time for gifts for your children or grandchildren. So be on the lookout for that. Resources.afa.net. You can still order right now. Resources.afa.net. 20% off plus free shipping on those 3 DVD sets. Well, moving into some of the other items that I want to get to. One thing I've been mentioning for several weeks now, that is our retreat, AFA retreat, coming up in April of 2024. And you say it's a long time away, but it's just around the corner. This year, 2023, is going by fast. We're headed into the Thanksgiving and Christmas season, and then boom, before you know it, we'll be in April, which of course is the month of Easter. And we're going to be having our retreat in Sylacauga, Alabama at Purcell Farms. We'll be doing the show there some and having great speakers. Jenna Ellis will be there. E.W. Jackson will be there. Dr. Ray Pritchard will be there. Rob West from Faith and Finance, the show heard each weekday here on AFR, will be in attendance as well, along with the entire leadership team of AFA. So we look forward to seeing you there. AFAretreat.net is that URL. April 3rd through the 6th is the date, are the dates. April 3rd through the 6th, AFAretreat.net. Well, I brought in a few clips today, and the first one I want to get to is this whole topic of the 2020 election, and then the Democrats and their prosecutors are going after Donald Trump, trying to lock him up because he dared to question the 2020 election. And it's really, unfortunately, I believe a lot of Americans are not educated on this topic of how our elections work, the entire process, if you will. It's a little bit more than just going to the ballot box in November every 2 years or 4 years, depending on what public office we're talking about. It's more than just going to the ballot box and voting, and then boom, you got a president. Boom, you have a congressman. It is, I guess you could say it is that simple for everything but the president. But specifically, when you're looking at the office of the president, presidential elections, there's a few layers here. All right, there's a few layers. So first off, you have the primary. You have the presidential primary, which we're actually going through now for 2024. Early 2024, beginning in January, you'll be seeing some primary elections begin, starting with the Iowa caucuses. So you have the primaries, and each party picks their preferred candidate. After the primary, you transition, you switch to the general election. And after election day, in various states, in all 50 states,
どれくらい待った
presidential after election day, the popular vote for each state determines
あ、シャワー浴びて出てきたらいた。ちょうどよかった。
which electors
ちょうどいい。
Republican Democrat prevail, if you will, on a given state. So, for example, I don't have the electoral breakdown per state. We can get that maybe another time. But for the sake of simplicity and explaining this, let's just go with the hypothetical. So let's say Mississippi. That's where I live.
途中で見
Mississippi
に行ったんだよ、お父さんのこと
the
を。
majority of Mississippi voters vote for
エクササイズしてるどうか。
This is just an example. Well,
座ってたけど。
Mississippi's electors
体動かした
will
今日
then
は。
go towards the
体動かしたの。
tally of the Republican.
今日は体を動かしたの。今日体を動かしたの。
それは5月連れて行ってんだもん。
wins the election. All right. So popular vote only matters within a given state. Popular vote nationally.
先生と挨拶した。
あ
コーチ。コーチ挨拶した。
あ、したよ。
ああ。向こうから挨拶してきたの。
そう。 いい人だよね。President of the United States, or the 45th rather. She doesn't accept it. President Trump was an illegitimate president, according to Hillary Clinton. And remember over in Georgia, remember Stacey Abrams when she lost to Brian Kemp? For months, and still to this day, well, actually, I think she recanted, but for months she said, oh, the election was rigged. It was stolen. Brian Kemp's not the governor. I'm the governor. And so the Democrats are now acting like that nobody has ever challenged America's election results ever. This is a new thing for America. And to show how much this is not a new thing for America, let's play clip one. This is post 2016, November 2016 election, where Hollywood actors were asking the electors to flip their vote in favor of Hillary Clinton. Clip one.
Republican members of the Electoral College, this message is for you. As you know, our founding fathers built the Electoral College to safeguard the American people from the dangers of a demagogue and to ensure that the presidency only goes to someone who is to an eminent degree endowed with the requisite qualifications.
An eminent degree. Someone who is highly qualified for the job.
The Electoral College was created specifically to prevent an unfit candidate from becoming president.
There are 538 members of the Electoral College. You and just 36 other conscientious Republican electors can make a difference.
By voting your conscience on December 19th.
And thereby shaping the future of our nation.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
As you know, the Constitution gives electors the right to vote for any eligible person.
Any eligible person, no matter which party they belong to.
but it should certainly be someone you consider especially competent.
Especially competent to serve as President of the United States of America.
By voting your conscience, you and other brave Republican electors can give the House of Representatives the option to select a qualified candidate for the presidency.
I stand with you. I stand with you. I stand with you.
I stand with you in support and solidarity with conservatives, independents.
Sounds like a Ukraine ad.
All citizens of the United States.
The American people trust that your voice speaks for us all.
And that you will make yourself heard through the constitutional responsibility granted to you by Alexander Hamilton himself.
What is evident is that Donald Trump lacks more than the qualifications to be president.
He lacks the necessary stability.
And clearly the respect for the Constitution of our great nation.
You have position,
The authority
And the opportunity to go down in the books as an American hero.
Who changed the course of history.
And you have my respect.
You have my respect.
you have my respect.
for your patriotism.
In service to the American people. Unite for America.
Unite for America. Give us Hillary Clinton, please. That was a ad by a bunch of people who think they are more important than they are. That was a late 2016 ad, early 2017, before the inauguration. And you know what they were doing there? They were subverting the will of the people. That's what the Democrats are saying now. Where is the RICO violation there? Because that's what they're pulling out against Donald Trump. And everyone who had anything to do with challenging the election results in Georgia, they are being charged with RICO violations. Violations that were reserved for the mafia decades ago are being used against a major political opponent of Joe Biden. Two-time political opponent. Where is the Jack Smith January 6th committee with those folks? Nowhere to be found. Why? Because they were trying to get Hillary Clinton fraudulently placed as president by subverting the Electoral College process. They were trying to hijack the Electoral College process, and they ran ads about it. Where was the scandal? Well, you know why there wasn't a scandal? Because it's not illegal. And this is the huge problem that the district attorney in Fulton County has. Fani Willis, there is no criminal statute that says challenging election results is illegal. That's why she goes to RICO. And this has never been done before. And that's why it will utterly fail. You can't conjure up a crime when there is no crime. And the most infuriating part of it all is not that it is happening, meaning the unjust prosecution of President Trump and others, might I mention, but that if the government gets it wrong here, what's the recourse? What's the recourse? Where's the financial restitution for rogue prosecutors who are prosecuting crimes that they know they can't win in court with a jury? Unbelievable. Challenging America's elections is not uncommon. It's not unconstitutional. It's perfectly legal. And it's been done before. That's the lesson. We'll be back in a few.
The Lord hates haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. My name is Abraham Hamilton III, and this is the Hamilton Minute. Early voting is underway in Ohio concerning Issue 1, which is a state ballot measure. Issue 1 is a proposed amendment that would enshrine the unfettered right to kill an unborn child at any point during pregnancy into the Ohio State Constitution. It would also eviscerate parental consent laws in the state. For example, a minor can't get a tattoo without parental 7.
Listen each weekday from 5 to 6 p.m. Central for the Hamilton Corner with Abraham Hamilton III, Public Policy Analyst for the American Family Association.
We live in a day when America's families are under attack like never before.
Buddy Smith, Senior Vice President of the American Family Association.
The war against biblical principles rages on new...